Welcome back to the channel, hopefully you're all doing well. This week's episode we've got a few bits and bobs in here. One of the jobs was a heat slave combi oil boiler. They were a beast of a unit to get out. Me and Jacob did that one. The old one had rotted out at the bottom. What else have we got? We've got a few bits and bobs. I've just done a load of radiators and a load of radiator valves in a care home. I think there was 30 something TRVs I had to fit. It actually took me a couple of days because by the time I took all the covers off, I had to put each cover back on as I was going along, and then I had to take them all back off again to bleed all the radiators. So yeah, that took me a couple of days. I didn't really film much of that because it's not that interesting fitting TRVs. I just sort of show you what it is. So yeah, that's what this week's episode is going to be. As always, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoy, and we'll catch you straight in there. My mate's changing the water heater, and I've got this flush valve to change. Who do you reckon's got the easier job? We've got a new Dudley, a new fluid master one going in, so it should just clip straight back on that bayonet. It just won't turning off. The ball valve will constantly fill in, so that one will get that sorted. And hopefully by the time I've got that done, Jacob's got the water heater changed. Yeah, it's the same one. Is that bit broke on that? No, probably not. You need to hurry up, Jacob, we'll be done. I am only mucking around, by the way. There you go. Sorted. I am disappointed you're not finished. What's going on with this, Jacob? What's wrong with that? I know you haven't done this.
Sorry?
What's wrong with that?
What is it? I can't see it. Oh, the elbow.
Yeah, you should have 300, shouldn't you? Should have put the tundish up here, shouldn't they? Expansion vessel's flat as well. Technical tap on it. We're putting a new one on anyway. But yeah, we'll sort it. The difference between the new and the old one. This is full of water. This should be full of air. This takes up the expansion as the water's heating up. This is a, what is it, an 8 litre one. So the bladder will be split in that because it's probably never ever been serviced. So pop the new one straight on there. The difference in the weight, obviously you can't see that, but that's light as a feather. And that one weighs about, what, 8 kilos of water plus the weight of the expansion. Not very hot, Jacob.
Well?
Because we haven't wired it up yet, have we? Always switch them on before you wire them up. Jacob's got all that changed. It was pretty much a straight swap, apart from it wasn't. No, we just changed a couple of bits. I did the expansion vessel. You haven't cut that flex short, have you?
Yeah, I'll cut it short.
Never in doubt. See how that water's gone rusty? It's because the lining's gone inside the tank. The water was coming out the tap's orange, and the heater wasn't heating up anyway. That's why we changed that one. Sometimes you get away with just changing the elements, but because the water had gone orange, it normally means it's knackered. So we're just on this job today. We just ripped out an old heat slave oil boiler, beast of a unit they are. We're putting a new 1825 heat slave 2 in. This pipework's a bit of a mess behind there. So they've used service valves on the heating, which we're going to cut all these out. That one's been added in. They're heating flame returns as well. They've used, that's like downstairs circuit, but they've reduced it to 15. So we're going to cut these back here, or disconnect them there, bring that back up in 22, swing them behind the boiler. We're going to try and tidy all this pipework up behind here as well. New fill loop. And yeah, just tidy the job up. Flue oil will line back up on these. That was the old flow. That one was the old return. That was the old cold, which we just disconnected, but we're going to cut it back here and then just bring that up in copper, I think. So yeah, that's pretty much it on the hot. That's the hot there, which drops back down. So we'll probably connect it back up there. The connections are on the left hand side on these, sort of in this area here, so we need to bring everything through, but we'll get everything done behind the boiler and then leave everything there. Filter we're probably going to mount in this cupboard here. We didn't smash the back out, that was already done like that. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. New fire valve, new filter, and yeah, jig everything back in. It's difficult to price job. Well, I have priced this job, but when I was here all this was like hidden, so you couldn't see all these. Well, I call them horizontal heating, because you shouldn't. There's a small bore, and B, really you shouldn't use service valves on heating. So yeah, we'll get all that cut out, all jigged back in, all flushed out, and that should get this one sorted. So on these boilers, they're labelled up your connections. They're all on the left hand side on these. So you've got flow, you've got hot water is 22 on these, cold, and then your return. So our hot and cold are coming from the left and our flow and return are coming from the right, so we just need to jiggle them back in. That valve comes shut on these, so it doesn't empty the boiler. Sometimes that catches you out when you come to commission it, but yeah, that return valve comes shut. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Jacob's just jigging his pipe work through. I'm just setting the oil line and everything up. So we're just tidying up this pipe work the very best we can. These are flow and returns to a radiator upstairs. So we're going to do away with them service valves, drain them into a bucket, and then just pick them back up. That was the return, so we'll keep that as return. It will tie back in that side of the filter, everything through the filter, and then back into the boiler. These, I've just worked out where they need to be on the boiler, so that's where the flow goes return. We are going to put some tape behind them pipes as well, but we needed them tight back so the boiler sits back. And then we've just put a full bore butterfly valve on the cold. We're going to put a shock arrestor fill loop in there, so we need a connection for the return as well to pick up off the boiler. So yeah, it's going okay. We're just getting all the prep work done and then we can get the boiler in position. The reason I've done that like that is because I didn't want the copper pipework touching the block. I know it's only thermalite, but it can still corrode. I've taped the wall there because I didn't want to get any sticky stuff on the end of my pipe, because that's exactly where I need to join on, but it's still not touching the block work, so that should be absolutely perfect for us. So we're about ready to get the boiler in. What we're going to do is we're going to drag a return across for the fill loop from this 15mm one here. So we'll put a T there, put that behind, and then take the fill loop into this cupboard. As I say, it's a bit of a shame why that's been smashed out, but we can only sort of do what we can do. We're going to put a shock arrestor on there, and then we can get the boiler slid in position. I brought the oil line through, that should be in the right place for us. So yeah, PRV, they do line back up on these. I think you just have to use a couple of elbows, and then we'll seal around the flue, and then we'll get the magnet cleanse bolted on. Position this boiler in now. We're going to get this return connection done first, solder an elbow on there. I think we can just sneak it out. Flue's going to line up. PRV, I will have to alter. Flow will line back up, and then hot and cold, we've got them coming across here. That's the 22 hot and that's 15 cold, which they should be easy enough to jig back in. I haven't checked my oil line yet to see if that lines up, but I think it should if I've got my calculations right. So yeah, we've got a little bit jigging and pokery to do, but not too bad on this one. So I've just got that one to solder up. It's a little bit tricky down there, but Jacob's going to heat it from that side, and I'm going to solder it up. That flow will be perfect for us. It just lift up that touch. Beautiful. And then we've just got Jacob's just jigging the cold pipe in down that side. The hot will come back through that gap there, and that should be that. How you getting on down there? All right. I used to do these on my own, Jacob.
Yeah, it's not too bad, really.
Yeah, once you get them moving, they're not too bad. It's just getting the old ones out is the worst bit.
Yeah, I agree.
This one's not too bad. So check, see if the oil line ends up in the right place. I'll just disconnect that, Jacob. Oil line connection, we need to put an insert in there, and then that'll go straight on there with a bit of luck, which connects onto the flexi, onto the burner. Jacob's just jigging his cold in. He's got his shock arrestor, he's just doing his fill loop connection now. We have tried the side of the cupboard back in as well. We didn't actually take that off, but the client did that, which is brilliant for us. It makes our life easy, but we just wanted to make sure everything goes back in. So we've got a shock arrestor. All that does is takes up the shock inside the boiler. So if a hot tap slams shut, it doesn't put the strain through the boiler. That takes the strain, if that makes sense. Part work is quite tight on these, but they're not too bad. Right, we'll turn the cold back onto the boiler. That'll fill the hot side up. It's not quite ready to fill the heating up yet, because we've still got them speed fits jig back in on this right hand side. We've got branches in for them. Actually, really like Jacob. There's no flying out anyway, mate, which is always a good sign.
Yeah.
It's just flux that. Wipe your flux off, boy. Right, that's okay. I'll get the fluid on if you want to get them connected in there, Jacob. So Jacob's just tied. I mean, what's that? Your filter top. Oh yeah, filter's closed, but it'll still fill the boiler. It takes a while because you've got to fill the slave tank up on these, Jacob. Let me just turn that off so we can hear. Yeah, you're right. You can fill the boiler.
Yeah, it's on now.
So what this will do is fill that slave tank up, and auto air vent on the top. Let's just move that out of the way. Oh, sack the juggler. So there's an auto air vent on the top of that slave tank, the one with the yellow cap on. So that's filling that up. We'll bleed the top of the boiler. Got one on the heat exchanger, and then there's one there as well because that's a high point. And then we are going to get the Magna Cleanse bolted on this in a minute. We've still got a hive to put on this system as well. So make sure we've got no leaks. And then fluids patch up. Still got the condense to run out. We're in. Looking alright.
Well, put those off.
Oh, you don't want it? Why don't you wait till you get some more tools for it? And then...
No, I can do.
Because you'll need like a service bag, won't you, when you get out on your own? When I get you, yeah. Blimey, that's tight. That one should be full anyway, but we'll check it. Still filling the slave tank up. Right, let's bob them on. Let's bob them on.
The sockets at the ground, are they?
Yeah, they'll be alright, mate.
Okay.
You tighten them up, didn't you?
Yeah.
We'll dry them off in a second. That's going to be oil connected up. I will pop that back on just for a second. I think my mate filled it up. Yeah, we're at, just over 1 bar, so that will actually fire now. Yeah, what I'll probably do is I'll just... Oh, we've got a wire. I've got to put the hive on yet. Scratch what I just said. I'll get the oil tested, bled through. Do I just temper it? Yeah. I'll probably wire the hive in. So we've got the hive wired up. We're just going to fire the boiler up. We've got the Magna Cleanse bolted on as well. So that's oil fault, that is. We just have to bleed the oil through. Okay, should try and fire.
No.
We'll do in a second. There you go.
There we go.
There you go. Okay, tighten that up, Jacob. We do need to get the pump pressure gauge on there anyway, mate, in a minute.
Yeah.
That'll just fire for... That'll heat the slave tank up for a start, and then it'll flick over to heating. So on these boilers, it'll always heat that slave tank up first. It gets it to about 70, 75 on these, and then it'll flick across onto heating. Pressure's a bit low because we've just got the Magna Cleanse AAVs kicking on, so pop a drop in. just top the pressure back up. So we just took the filter off and bolted the Magna cleanse straight on. That's the good thing with them. So he's got some plume on. Still got to fill that hole, but I've just got the wrong colour cement, so I need to try and find something that'll match it in a bit better. Patched up all around the terminal guard. Yeah, it's nice to see them when they're working. Take the pump pressure up at 8.8 bar. We're just putting the analyzer in the boiler. So we need CO2 to 12.5% on this one, and to adjust that, it's just on that Allen key down there on the air. So it'll probably be a little bit out on this. That hissing noise is just the water softener regenerating. We popped it on bypass before filling the heating up. It's not going to be far out this, you know, Jacob.
No.
On this one. On these boilers, they're a combi boiler, but what it does is it stores a load of heated water ready to use for the hot water to pass through the plate heat exchanger. So the cold water comes through, that's a turbine. So when a tap opens, that senses the flow. The old ones used to be a paddle switch, but these are a turbine inside these now. Cold water passes through the plate heat exchanger, and it passes through onto the hot side, and then the other side comes off that slave tank, if that makes sense. It's because an oil boiler can't ramp up as quick as a gas boiler, so it has to store some heated water inside there. So yeah, that's your flow turbine. Cold in. You've got pump, diverter valve. That's currently in heating mode. It flicks it up for hot water mode. Your burner, expansion vessel, and yeah, CRV that side. We've just got to sort these cables out as well. But you need to leave them long enough to get the basket forward. The amount of times you see people leave them short and then you can't slide that forward. And then we've just got the fluid patch up. These old ones had a paddle switch. These often split at the top. But all it was a paddle to sense the flow, whereas the new one's a turbine. So similar sort of thing with the plate heat exchanger and the slave tank. These used to have a proper diverter. These are just a 3-wire one, I think. Yeah, just the 3-wire diverter valve, so it'll only do heating or hot water, not both at the same time. This one's actually rotted out at the bottom tray had nearly dropped off it. I mean, it'd been well looked after. It'd been in 23 years, I think he said, so it's not done bad. This standard efficiency one, no secondary heat exchanger on this. But very similar idea, just the new ones are a bit more upgraded and easier to work on. Them pumps are always a pain to change on these because them valves always leak. It looks like it's probably had new valves. Them isolation valves always leak on them as well when you turn them off for the oil. So a couple of things. Changed a few of them tanks over the years. The first ones used to be at the bottom underneath and everything used to sit on top, but these rot out. I don't know if that one had been leaking. They're not too bad to change. They're a bit of a nightmare because you've got to take everything off, and then the screw at the bottom that holds them in always rots off as well. That one looks like it's maybe had a new one, I don't know. In fairness, the burner in that looks in good order on this one. It's had the upgraded photocell put on it. Sometimes it's worth keeping the burners as a spare. It's had a new nozzle, it's had a new hose put on it as well. Whoever's been looking after the boiler has not been doing a bad job. And so I might actually keep the burner off this one as a spare. All the other bits, probably not keep anything off it. But yeah, it's sometimes worth keeping bits and bobs.
New hose on it.
Yeah, new hose. It's had a new nozzle. It's probably not long since it's been serviced, but the customer just wanted a replacement as it was leaking. Oh, which makes sense. It's been burning clean. A little bit of red inside, completely normal. Get Jacob to take the slave tank off it as well. A little bit of practice for him. Just have to undo the nuts. If it don't come off easily, we'll leave it on, but it makes it a little bit lighter. That one normally holds the tank in, but somebody's already took it off. It's probably had a new one in at some point in the last 23 years. It was maybe even me that did it, because they're always just one to get back in. Or I find they are. So in theory, if you undo them, Jacob, that whole lot will slide forward. That whole piece, sometimes easier to grab them from the bottom. Wiggles out on them. Makes them a bit lighter as well to get them in the van. What we caught on, just that wire. Probably been leaking at the back. Now you've only got one lump to deal with, not two. See how much is in it next. A bit.
Where's the thing? Oh, it's just a magnet in these ones, isn't it?
Yeah, magnet in them.
No sleeve.
Not on them ones. Yeah, a bit more on that one. Not too bad. Well worth doing. Another one also to Jacob. Gone alright that, isn't it? Not too bad. New boilers are a little bit narrow, but I think he's going to make an end panel for that. Yeah, customer's happy. We're happy. Let's get out of it. So the pressure's off the system. I've already done a few anyway. I've actually valved some of the circuits off in the boiler room as well. These downforce ones, you have to select the flow, so we'll have to go around at the end and twist these. They are bi-directional, but you have to twist them which way you want. I'll just put that on there. Goes on there. That hooks out of there. So this is like a remote sensor head, if that makes sense. So instead of your TRV being on the valve, it's on there. Just wind that up, and I've been mounting them about there. There's arrows on them. I've just been tucking the wire behind. So arrow, so you get that mounted up. Just fix that in the wall. Probably need to get some plasterboard fixings on this one, actually, looking at it. And yeah, that's them done. They're not bad to do, there's just a lot of them to do. That one had been put like right next to the radiator, so all it's doing is picking up temperature. I'm not saying mounting them there, it's going to be a little bit better. It's still not ideal. You'd want them, you know, about a metre away from the radiator, but yeah, we just do what we do, because that's what we do. What this is your like flow arrow. So I've been setting them all on the flow, and if when I fire the heating up, they're on the return, I just have to spin that round. So there's a little black line on the valve and then the arrow. So you spin them like that. As always, thank you so much for watching. All the support is greatly appreciated. I've actually taken your advice and I've booked myself a holiday. First holiday I've had in 6 years. I'm not going abroad. I haven't got a passport or anything like that. I'm going to Wales off season in September, because it was a lot cheaper off season, you know. I can't afford on peak prices, so yeah, that's where I'm going there for probably a wet week in Wales. But it'd be nice just to get away, something to look forward to as well. I did Wales, what, 15-20 years ago, so quite fancy doing Mount Snowdon again. I'll probably run off it this time. I've not been doing as much running as I probably ought to, but I've been trying to do 2.5k a day, but some days I'm just knackered, so yeah, I sometimes skip a day, a cheat a day. But yeah, you're keeping busy at the minute. I've got quite a lot of stuff that I want to show on the channel. I need to stop touching my eye as well, because I'm nervous when I'm talking to the camera. Somebody picked up on it and I've realised I'm doing it now, but yeah, it is what it is. I've done a bathroom in the last few weeks, so that's going to be probably a 3-part series. So the strip out, the first fix and the second fix. What else have we done? I've started a barn. I've done all the soils and wastes in the first floor. It's quite a big barn, fitters for a builder. He actually watches my YouTube videos. He didn't realise he watched my YouTube videos until I turned up, so that was quite interesting. He didn't. What I'm trying to say is he didn't book me because he watched my YouTube. I don't really advertise my business on YouTube. I just do it for a bit of fun. So yeah, at least like he was happy with my filming and stuff. So I've done these saws and wastes on that. I'm due back in July to do the main first fix. But I needed to get the saws and wastes in first before anybody else goes in, because that's what I like to do. So the sparkies don't nick my best runs for the waste pipes and stuff. So that's another video I've got coming up on the channel probably shortly. And there's quite a few bits and bobs. Obviously I'm filming all the time. This week I haven't actually got much footage because them radiator valves, where I'm not going to film changing 35 radiator valves. And I did a boiler on Monday, and the lad didn't get out of bed all day. The boiler was in the old airing cupboard. It was combi to combi swap. There was a lad asleep all day on the bed. Yeah. So obviously I'm not filming that. So yeah, plenty coming up on the channel. Have a great week, and we'll catch you all hopefully on Friday. Thank you so much for watching.